Good evening. Thank you for joining me. Let me turn my headlamp on. Not the one I'm reviewing, but the one I'm looking at. So what are we looking at today? Well, as you can see, it's winter. I'm out in the middle of nowhere. It's freezing cold and all the leaves are dropping. A little bit of wind noise, so I do apologise for that in advance. I'll try and keep out of it the best I can. So we are looking at the brand new Nitecore UT27. Can you remember I had a look at the Nu33, which I thought was great? That was about 40, if I remember rightly, it was about 1400 milliamp hours, I think the battery was. Actually, no, it was 2000. Bit slightly bigger than this, had a lot of the features that this has, although this has a dual lens rather than a smaller one for the auxiliary setup, and it is tiltable like that. But that other one was 700 lumens. This one on max will do, with step down, yes, but this will do 800, and it uses both to do that. And if you can see there, I've done this in 4K and HDR, so you can probably zoom in if you want. I think it does say on the back there, there's a 1300 milliamp hour battery, but the difference in this is, it's in there, but it's not built in. So you can't charge it from the outside. So what you need to do is, and bear in mind, I'm doing this one-handed, so I apologise. This will be a little bit clumsy. There you go, one-handed. There you go, right. Finally got it open. So there's the tilt mechanism. Then behind there, and this does stay together, you have in there a cell. Now that's a lithium ion, so they call that the HLB 1300. I guess it's the 1300 for how much juice is in there in milliamp hours. And can you see there's a type C at the top left of that screen there? And then you have two LEDs, so when that's charging it will go red, and then when it's fully charged the green one will go. Now behind there, I really don't want to drop this, but trust me, behind there, I'll drop it out a little bit. You can put 3 AAAs in there, or this pack, so you do have that option. But just bear in mind, if you do that, you're going to get less. You're going to get less output because that's a different battery chemistry. That's alkaline, whereas this is lithium ion. So let's walk along a bit. So this isn't a review, this is just the very first thoughts on this. I've been out for about nearly 2 hours tonight. I've really enjoyed it so far. I'm actually quite excited about it, because if you remember, I looked at the Nu21, which had a maximum of, I think it was 360 lumens. It was just enough for a trail run. And I thought that the other one was maybe a little bit heavy. And I said, I remember doing the review, I said, if only there was something in the middle. And someone said, what about the 25 and all of this? But they've come out with this, the 27. And I think this is pretty cool. I like the features, and I've actually, and I'm not just saying this, I've actually, because you know this is an honest channel, I've enjoyed using this. So anyway, I'm waffling. So you've got the reflective Nitecore on there, and it's got the waffle design. You can't take this off, and it's got that beading on, which is supposed to redirect sweat. It kind of just, it does a bit, but how much are you sweating? Just, you know, stick a hat on or something. It depends what weather you're doing for your trail runs. But I've been very, very impressed with it so far. So 2 mode buttons, like a lot of the other ultralights. And remember, this is an ultralight. There's the U for the ultralight, and then you have the T for the trail. So before someone jumps in and goes, it's rubbish, I've got one that does 9,000 lumens. Well, you might have one that does 9,000 lumens, but do I want that stuck on my head while I'm doing a trail run? Probably not, because I'll come back with like boxer's injuries to my neck. So you need something light, and there are people out there who do ultralight camping. I've had a few comments from those recently on the Nitecore stuff. They count every gram. This is about 70-ish grams, 79 I think off the top of my head. So they do count that. Anyway, that does sound like someone's having a wee, but it's not. It is some water there. So just to let you know that I'm not wetting my trousers. Okay, so let's turn this off, and bear in mind I'm doing this one-handed. Stick that in the back pocket, try not to burn myself. And I'll stick this on the head. Right, here we go, it's on my head. Right, so, quite simple. You've got 2 buttons. If you press them, you will get a battery level, which I'll show you in a minute. You have 4 little LEDs. So, if you want to use it though, you click and hold. So click and hold on the left will give you white. That's it at its lowest setting. That's pretty good, isn't it? I'm not going to give you lumen figures because this isn't a review, this is my first thoughts. And look, pushing down the river there, just. I think that's pretty nice. I've done this in HDR, it's 10-bit colour depth. This is the highest quality I can get away with before it gets nobbled by YouTube. That's not bad. You can't push out much, and I certainly wouldn't run with that. I'd need a little bit more. And then you've got your medium on, this is the white one on the left. There's your medium, I like that. Pretty nice. I like that. It's a shame there's not a lot of leaves left. They've all fallen off, which means colour representation isn't so good here. But like I say, I've done this in 10-bit colour, so it's representative if you've got an HDR monitor or a TV. Pretty good though, look. Is it stretching out of those trees? Yeah, just over there, yeah, but not massively. And then you've got high. There, that's high. That is about 500 lumens. which is pretty good. Bear in mind the other one, if you remember, was 360, the Nu21, and the Nu33 is only 700. That's on turbo, but you have about 3 modes on that one. I think that's pretty nice. And then if you thought, you know what, I don't want the cool white, on the right hand side you've got your warm tint. So click and hold, boom, there's warm tint on its lowest. Not very throughy that, is it? Look. But sometimes, and especially on camera and in person, warm looks less lumens even when it isn't. But it's certainly nicer to look at, and you'll generally get less backscatter and rain and fog and things like that. So if that's a consideration, not everyone wants to run in that, but if that is a consideration, you need to think about that. Now we'll cover that in the review, because these are things for a trail runner that you need to think about, especially fog. Although the difference between cool white and warm on a non-thrower is negligible, I will agree to that. So pretty good. That's the lowest. There's medium, stretching out a bit more there. That's quite throughy though, it's not that wide. Look, I'll move my head. If I move far left, far right, let's have a look at the ground. What does it actually look like? Not bad. Let's walk along with it. So this is medium. So if you wanted to look up the specs, you could think, well, that's what I'm going to see. And I'll not alter the footage, so this will be representative of reality. Pretty nice. And then we'll go to the highest on warm here. There, that's highest. And then stretch out a little bit. So look, you can see up that little trail there. See it? Now if we look down here, perfect. I could definitely run by that. And we'll go through this mud, look, if you listen. This squelchy mud, because I have actually got a pair of trail runners on here. You can laugh at my shoes, look. That's the state I'm in. I do genuinely come out and do this stuff. I don't just pretend and sit in the back garden. Okay, so that's pretty nice. And then if you wanted, you can use both at the same time. So when you're on either of the white or the warm modes, if you double click, boom, right, both of them are shining at the, that might just look like a neutral or white there, it isn't. That's both beams at the same time. So that is 800 lumens. Pretty nice. In fact, let's turn around, that's where I've been, look. Look at that, beautiful as this moth attacks me. Now we'll walk along. Now bear in mind, you will get a step down, so if you wanted to count, I think it's about 60 seconds, although when I did it a few times on this hike, I've not felt any heat. Now this is a plastic body. I don't know why it needs to step down so rapidly. Maybe it's a battery consideration, but if you watch, this will, there, you see that? That was a step down and it's gone back to the mode that I was at, which was the warm. But that's understandable, and I think you can certainly walk by that. If you're walking the dog or something, no problem. If we come down here and look at the spiders and creepy crawlies, yeah, fine. In fact, they look like a load of mosquitoes, don't they? Okay, pretty good. They're now all over my head. So you're probably thinking, well, aye, okay, this is all very well, but what's the specs? Well, it's got a 1 meter drop rating, which is fine because it's quite a lightweight sort of system. It's only IP66, which I will cover in the review. I would prefer to see at least 7. So it's water resistant and not waterproof. Okay, so just bear that in mind. So let's come down to the river a little bit. Come through here. And I'll show you again, turbo, boom, there's turbo. Very nice. So let's compare that to some of the other lights in a similar sort of range, similar setup. So you can look at this and go, well, okay, but what does that look like without any cuts or jiggery pokery? What does it look like when you compare it? Okay, boom, turn that off. Get that in the back pocket. Right, first thing I'm going to compare it to is the ace beam. So what I need to do is, bear with me, and I realise this is tedious, but I've got one hand and I can't put this down and I'm in the middle of nowhere. So if I do this, stick the old headlamp back on, well, I'll try to anyway. There you go. Right, I've got a Nitecore on there. Right, boom. So sorry about this, very unprofessional. What sort of flashlight tester are you? What a fool. Anyway, right, remember this one? I did the full review of this one. I didn't think I was going to like it because of the beam profile, and I did. 1000 lumens. Or if you get the high CRI, it isn't, but I preferred the high CRI. And look, 90% CRI, and it is a 5000, so it's kind of like neutrally. But if you remember, I had that strange sort of setup. So very, very small. It's using a very, very small sort of, well, it's a reflector really, which I thought I wasn't going to like on a headlamp. So we'll show you that. So let's turn this out. Let's go to the ace beam. So turn it on, double press. Make sure I'm in turbo. Yes, I am. There's turbo. Now, can you see? Interesting. Look, if we go down the floor, you've got that fat bit in the middle. You see it, where those two leaves are, and then you've got your spill, and it's kind of trying to get a bit of throw, which is not traditionally what you necessarily want with a headlamp. You want a bit of width so you can see where the hell you're going. Well, this one I actually really enjoyed using. So 1000 lumens on this tiny little thing. Really, really good. Extremely well built and waterproof. So if you needed something waterproof, you might want to look at this. But then the problem is, how are you going to charge it? So on the other one, you've got USB charging, or you can stick it in another battery pack, change the batteries. On this one, you're going to have to unscrew it and do the same with the batteries. But okay, let's walk through here. In fact, let's stand here a sec so you can see what these look like. So there's the ace beam, so 1000 lumens. That is the high CRI version, just so you know. I'm also going to check it with, let's turn the headlamp back on so I can show you. I will check it with the good old Nite HL16. I'll show you there. Noctua HL16, there it is. You've got the 90-degree head. You can change that. It is magnetic. 520 lumens on max here, and it's kind of like a TIR, but it's very throughy. So I'll show you that. Turn this out. Turn that on. Boom! Look how throughy that is. In fact, if I can get a side on and breathe on it, see that? You've got that punch in the middle. So if we turn around, look, very punchy down to that river. See? Not very bright actually. Have I got that in the right level there? There's brightest. 500. I mean, it isn't compared to the other one, which was like 1000 lumens. That's 520 lumens there on the Nite. I quite like it. I think they're very expensive at the moment. The prices are getting silly. Let's see up this hill. Yeah, pretty good. Little bit of tint shift on this one. I don't know whether that's the LED or the TIR, but all combination. In fact, if I come down, you may see around there, you've got this tint shift, which is annoying because this you can use up close, and it does have that battery level thing there. So it's kind of annoying, but okay, you can get away with it. So that is the Nite. So stick that in the pocket. Turn this back on, and I'll show you the next one. Sorry this is taking so long. But I don't do all the jump cuts every 6 seconds like some of these other channels. That's just irritating. It's like kids' TV, that. Right, this is the larger one. So look at the size difference there. So Nu33, it also has that battery level indicator. So you see the battery level there? So if you momentarily press the button, watch. See there? So 4 LEDs, 100%, or certainly above, you know, you've got 25%, 50, and then 75, then 100. So the one I'm looking at, the UT27, also has that feature. I'll show you that in a moment if you want. Also tiltable, exactly the same, but you can't open the back. You have to use the Type-C USB on the bottom, which I don't mind. Different lens setup on this one, so we'll have a good close look at it here. So still 2 buttons, and then you have the, hang on, I'm getting attacked by moths here, get off, right. You have the main lens there, but then for the auxiliary and the warmer, you have a smaller one, then a red light. I will show you the red light in the UT27 in a second. So, turn that off. So let's get this on. There's 3 modes on the main one there. So low, medium, and there's high. Very bright, that's about 700 lumens. But that will drop over time, because remember, a lot of these lights, they will slowly drop. I mean, you've got to look at the figures that you're getting from manufacturers. They're in you know, a controlled laboratory at a controlled temperature for a period of time, not the entirety. So you couldn't put this on 700 and go, right, I'm going to get 700 for the entire run time. Not always possible, but pretty decent. Quite sort of, that looks quite white, that to me. Let's have a look down on the floor. Any tint shift? Not really. It's pretty good. It's pretty good in uniform. Nice for hiking. I've used this. In fact, I have this in the car. I have this with a Sofern. In fact, I've got 2 Soferns, and this is really good. So I've had no problems with this. It's been out in all sorts. I've charged it many times with the USB. You can use it whilst it's charging as well, which you can't necessarily do with the UT27, but I'll cover that in a moment. Right, get that in the pocket. Okay, what else? Right, well, I needed to compare it with one of the All-Stars. So Woobin, let's come down. Remember the Woobin? This is the H5, and it had that sort of D1 sort of head on it, where it's very, very wide. Look at that. It's a TIR, but it's super wide, and it has a bit of punch in the middle. You only get about 400 lumens out of this, but you can, you know, tilt at loads of different angles and all those funny things. But let's have a look at this. So if we turn this out, I'll show you. So remember, 400 lumens max, so there it is on its lowest. Go through the modes. Right, there's its brightest, so 400 lumens, very, very diffuse though. Look, you can see the punch in the middle there, but look how wide that is. Look, without even having to move it, I can see to the periphery there perfectly. Let's look up this hill and see if that continues. Yeah, look, really nice. Not very bright though. I mean, you could say, well, 400 lumens, but sometimes that's all you need. It's a fun little waterproof light that you can, you know, take and grab, and it doesn't weigh a lot. It doesn't take up a lot of space. And if you're camping, you know, how much do you need? You don't have to push out that much. Goes down the river just, but not bad. Nice bit of waterproofing on that. Let's get that turned out. Boom. Because I don't want to belabor the point. I've already been waffling for 15 minutes here. I do apologise. So if you remember one of the ultralight things I was looking at, here's the other one, the Nu21. So look, very similar. You have the two lenses there, and then your red lights. Again, tiltable. And you have, I'll show you on the side, Type-C charging. So this is Type-C charging, the UT27, and your two main buttons. And again, that has the battery check, so you just press the button momentarily. Well, if I can get it to work, there you go. See them light up there? In fact, I should do it in the dark, sorry. Right. So if you wanted to know, there. Also, another interesting feature on here, which a lot of people don't cover, if I put this on my light for a second, so what I'm doing is I'm letting the band, which is like an ultralight band that you'd see on a lot of the Solomon shoes for trail runners. So now if I turn this out, look at the band. It glows in the dark. That's actually a useful feature, because if you come out of a lit environment and then you need to put this on, find it, it does make it easier to find. So I think that is an added nice thing. And if you're thinking, well, hang on, that looks rubbish, what's this shoelace stuff? It does actually work. It's pretty good and comfortable. Because this is so light, that is comfortable and it's easy to alter. And it's very similar to, and I'll show you, if I put my shoe up, my dirty shoe. So there is a quick lace system on a Solomon. And they don't cause any problems. So what you do is you literally pull that and push that. There are no, so when you're trail running, there are no laces. So it's an extremely nice system. So if you're thinking that looks cheap, it isn't. It's kind of in the ethos of trail runners. So I'm quite happy with that. So let's show you what this looks like, because it's only a maximum of about 360 lumens. So let's show you that. Turn this out. Right, here's a 21. You can see because I've got the band there. So click and hold. Very diffuse look, very diffuse, see? But not a lot of light. Right, that's its brightest there. You probably think, well, what's he whinging about? That looks absolutely fine. Yeah, okay, it does, but I'd like a bit more, because if we try and push out a little bit, so you can actually see an incoming like twig or something you're going to fall over, it's okay. I actually think they've tuned this perfectly for running, but I don't think 360 is enough. If it's wet and the ground's really absorbable like this, because then I think it makes it more difficult when you're trail running. I think if it's a non-technical trail, it's probably enough, but I would like to see more. Therefore, the 27 is probably better. So in that regards, I'm very happy with it. Okay, so let's go back to the light we're supposed to be talking about, and I'll give you the quick specs. Now listen in the background. Can you hear that? That must be the police coming for me. Who's that wandering around in the dark? Right, well, before I get arrested, let's quickly go over these points. So when I get eaten by moths here. Right, so here's the light. 1 meter drop rating, quick. I'm going to have to be really quick because the police are coming. 1 meter drop rating here. 2-button system, very simple UI, very nice. Dual lens, both the same size. You do have a red light mode, which I'll show you now. You'll see a red and blue light in a minute when the police get me. So right, let's quickly turn this out. Hurry up, the police are coming. So if I double click, there, red. So you do have a nice bright red mode there. I think they are coming for me, listen. There they are up there, you see them? There's a country access lane along there. They're in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what they're doing here. Anyway, there's red, so, and it's a nice bright one. You can't actually use it to walk by. So let's turn that off. And then you have your white, low, medium, high. Pretty nice. I'm not going to give you the lumen figures other than the maxes. So that is 500 lumens. And then you have your warm, so low, medium, high. And then you have your turbo. So just to prove it, look, there's one of the beams is going, but then when I press it, see how it's 2 now? It's hard to see, yes, both of them there. So both are pumping out, that is 800 lumens, but it will step down after about 60 seconds, although I'm not getting any heat, and you can just pop the battery and charge it. So I'm extremely happy so far. The only thing I'm not happy about so far is, and I will cover in the review, bear in mind, I like a camping and a trail light to be able to bolster its cell by using Type-C charging whilst you use it. Therefore, you're effectively unlimited because you could carry a pack. There's the step down there. You could carry a pack when you think about it. Turn that out. There, that's the top top white one, you could carry a pack and run it as long as the pack is running, so you can have massive capacity. You can't do that in this instance, so you'd have to get another battery and charge it or something. But it's a sort of balancing act, isn't it? Do you care about that, or do you just want the ability to pop it and put other batteries in? Other people do like sticking 3 cells in, and I get that. Look at this, look at this. That's a type of fungi there, look at it, looks weird. So I think I've covered everything. So 1 metre drop rating, IP66, it's water resistant, not waterproof. I love the band, I love the weight, I like the capacity of the thing. It is type C, and it does type C to C work, in other words power delivery. I will cover that. I'm so sorry this has taken me 20 minutes to waffle my way through this. This isn't a full review when I get time, but bear in mind I've had loads of stuff on my plate, and I waffle and I wander around in the dark, and the police didn't find me, so that's nice. So I'm going to get to my hideaway like Batman, and hopefully I'll get back to you with a review if I don't go to Alcatraz. Right, thanks for joining me. If you've got any comments, stick them down below. I will answer everything. I'm still at a stage where I can answer everything, but that's soon becoming a thing where I'll have to stop doing that. I'm trying my best though, so stick it down and I'll do my best. Okay, thanks for joining me. I'll show you how dark it is. So I'll turn this out. Boom. It's very dark. Right, good night.